All right, it's looking like we have our group from Central here, so we are just going to get rolling. So, hey, Central School District, how you doing? I want to say good morning, and then obviously for those that are joining us at a later date, I'm watching the recording. Hope you're having a great day as well. I'm just going to go through a few things. My name is Kevin Atnell. I'm the Executive Director of York County Alliance for Learning, and the way we fit into all this is we make connections between the schools and employers, trainers, and great institutions that will help you get to certain careers. So today we have a team from Central Penn who's going to be helping guide us through this topic, which I'm going to try and say once properly and then never say it again: phlebotomy, and and I can spell it, but don't make me do it on the spot. If you have any general questions about any YCAL programs, not necessarily this one, but you know, any programs, my website address and my email address is up there on the screen. Feel free to reach out to me, and I'll gladly help you any way that I can. So just a couple things. Today is all about career exploration. You're here because maybe you haven't settled in on a exact career pursuit just yet, and that's okay. So after today, after you watch this, hopefully there's one of three outcomes that we're probably going to have. This might help you realize, okay, I'm on the right track. This is what I want to do. That's awesome. It may leave you with a few more questions that you need to do a little bit more research, maybe contact one of the panelists today and ask a few questions to help you out. Or it may leave you saying, you know what, this isn't necessarily what I thought it was going to be, or maybe this isn't a right match, and maybe you don't want to go this route. And that's okay too. All three of those outcomes are okay because it's all part of the exploration process. We want you to make the right decisions for you. So why are we exploring now? Why are we doing this? Why do we want you to, and why do we want your, or why do your teachers want you to do this? Well, want you to figure out what your next move is going to be, whether that's in just a couple months, or maybe it's, you know, 3, 4, maybe even 5 years from now, if you're around middle school. What do you need to do when you get out of high school? Are you going to go get a job right away, entry-level job, and perhaps try and move your way up from there? Do you have to, can you do an apprenticeship? Is there a way you can get paid and essentially go to school at the same time, you know, training on the job? Are you going to have to go and get a special certification where maybe it only takes, you know, a month, 3 months, or 6 months to get a special certificate to do a certain job? Or is it going to be college? And if so, if it's going to be the college route, what kind of college degree do you need? Because all college degrees aren't 4 years. Some are, you know, 18 months, some are 21 months, you know, and 2 years, 4 years, who knows? And then maybe you have to go 6 or 8 years depending on what you want to do. So all part of the process, we want to figure out what's your ultimate career and what kind of training does it require. And that's one of the things today. It's great when we can match up and partner with a college, because that training is really important. You know, we can look at what job we want to do eventually, but there's a path that you have to take to get there, and that's important to focus on that as well. So we want to talk about, or I like to talk about, maximizing your ROI, return on investment. So that college degree hopefully is going to lead you to a certain career, and the idea is you might have paid some money for that college degree, and then eventually you'll be able to pay that money off because you get the career that you want, and you start making enough money to pay off your student loan debt. But we want to make sure that you're maximizing that. So a couple things. Average student is going to change majors about 3 times. So they go to college, they end up changing their majors multiple times. Almost all, we'll just say 80% is going to change their major once. So they go in with one plan and they change it at least once. And college costs about $29,000 a year on average. Some are more expensive than others, and that includes room and board, tuition, books, all that fun stuff. So it's expensive. So if you tend to switch majors, switching majors may cause you to have to go an extra semester, an extra year, 2 years, who knows? And that just might be extra debt that you're going into, or extra money that you're paying out. And we don't want you to have to do that. What we want you to do is explore now, ask the questions. So you go into school, if that's the route you're going, you go into school with a more set plan. You know what you're getting into, and you've hopefully settled on a decision. So you'll be on the low end of that changing majors 3 times section there. So we want you to make the best decisions you can make. We have, actually tomorrow is going to be our very last program for the year. We have about 30 of them that we've done. So there are other ones already available to watch on demand. So after you watch this one, you can certainly go to our website and perhaps watch a couple others if you're still not sure what you want to do after this. And Central Penn was nice enough. They've actually, this is their third one that they're hosting. So they've also done one in occupational therapy and physical therapy. So certainly I recommend checking those out as well. But if you go to the YCAL website, you can get access to all of them. And there's a list of all the great people that were willing to do these and help us out this year. So last thing before we start, if you are here with us live, you could ask a question at any time. There's a Q&A button. Just press that and go ahead and type in your question, and we'll get to it as soon as possible. And I'll monitor that. We'll use the chat function for any email addresses or websites or anything that would be a good resource for you. And again, if you're watching the recording, you should be seeing that chat off to the side there, so you can use that at any time. So with that, oh, that's right. If you, for some reason, you're watching it live and you have to leave the session, you can just use the link that got you here today. That'll get you back into the session. You can just forward along to the part that you had to leave, and you can watch the rest of it. So without further ado, I'm going to be quiet, and I want to say thank you to the team at Central Penn for being here and doing all this today. And I'm going to turn it over to them, and you can take it away.
Thank you, Kevin. All right, guys, well, welcome. We're going to talk to you today about phlebotomy, but first I wanted to introduce you who's here with me. I'm Lisa Seifert. I'm the Director of Recruitment here at Central Penn. So if you were to choose to come here, you would probably work with myself or an admissions counselor to get started. And then we have Kelly Fox, who is our financial planning coordinator. So she helps with scholarships, financial aid, and housing. And then there's Amy Rowcliffe, who will be talking to you in just a few minutes about Central Penn and what life's like there. And she's our high school outreach coordinator. So you may be seeing her in your high schools coming soon. All right, so we'll get started with the presentation. All right, so we're here to talk to you about phlebotomy technician and what you can do with that. So some of you may be asking, what is a phlebotomy technician? So phlebotomy technicians draw blood for tests, for research, or for blood donations. So what does a phlebotomy technician do? Yes, you do have to use needles, and yes, you cannot be afraid of taking blood. So you do draw blood from patients and blood donors. You will talk with patients to make them feel a little less nervous about having their blood drawn. You will also verify identity to ensure proper labeling of blood. You will label the blood for testing or for processing to the labs. You will assemble and maintain medical supplies, and you will keep your work areas clean and sanitary. So what is the job outlook in the future? Overall employment of phlebotomists is projected to grow 25% through the year of 2026, much faster than the average of all occupations. And we got this data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. So that link is on here as well, if you want to find out additional information on that. Now, some of you may be asking, well, where can I work as a phlebotomist? You can work in the hospitals. So there's many in the surrounding central Pennsylvania area. We also work at medical laboratories, diagnostic laboratories, blood donor centers, and doctor's offices. So there's a variety of different places that you can work as a phlebotomist. Who will you tend to work with? You will be able to work with people of all ages. So from newborns all the way to older adults. The type of facility you choose to work at will help dictate what population you'll be working most closely with. So if you're in a pediatric office, you're going to be primarily dealing with children. If you're, maybe in a hospital, you'll have a wide range of people who are coming in as well. Some of the academic requirements that are required to become a phlebotomist would be you must complete a post-secondary non-degree award from a phlebotomy program. The certificate will consist of classroom study and lab work. So you will not only be learning, from your books and materials and all that behind it, but you're also going to be actually doing it. So you'll actually be practicing it too. So you're actually going to see that in a video we're going to show you in a few minutes. And Amy's going to talk to you a little bit more about that too. You must complete the Certified Phlebotomy Technician exam, and this is by the National Health Career Association upon completion of the required courses to actually be certified as a phlebotomist. Our accreditations and approvals. So we, as Central Penn College, we are accredited by the Middle States Commission on Higher Education. So that's important. So we're recognized out there. We can offer financial aid for what you qualify for. And your certificate for this program is recognizable out there in the industry. So some of the skills that phlebotomy technicians tend to have, so things that we look for as you're trying to enter this field. So if you fall into some of these categories or they look at different things, this may be a good choice for you. If you're compassionate, some patients or clients are afraid of having their blood drawn and need extra care. So you're going to have to, talk with them, make them feel relaxed to get them to give blood. You should be detail oriented. Phlebotomists must draw the correct tubes of blood for tests ordered. They also have to do track tubes and enter data into the database. Dexterity, so phlebotomists work with their hands and they must be able to use their equipment properly. Good hand-eye coordination, phlebotomists draw blood from many patients and they must perform their duty successfully on the first try to save patients additional discomfort. I'm sure we all have that memory of getting blood drawn that maybe it wasn't the best phlebotomist, so we try and make you the best here. Your physical stamina, so phlebotomists are on their feet for long periods of time. So those are all important things as you're considering this field. This is Lucy Hunsberger. She is one of our instructors here for the phlebotomy program. Some quick facts about her is she does have 2 degrees from Central Penn College. She currently works as a medical assistant too, so she brings that real world experience into the classroom. She's worked in various aspects of healthcare, so both inpatient and outpatient settings. And she and her family love volunteering together and serving others. She would have loved to have been here today, but she's currently teaching classes. So what we did is we met up with her and she gave us a tour of the classroom and lab and to talk to you a little bit about what to expect in the classroom and in the field as a phlebotomist. You'll see at the bottom of your screen once we get started here in the maroon bar, they are going to list the question that we asked and then she will be answering it. So I hope you enjoy this little tour and video.
I'm Lucy Hunsberger. I am the Program Director of Allied Health. I also teach in the Medical Assisting Program and I work part-time as a medical assistant. The first time I actually heard about phlebotomy was when I came to Central Penn College. I came here as a medical assistant student and to be honest, I really didn't know what I was getting in for. I had no idea what it entailed. I knew it entailed being with patients, but I didn't know that it entailed drawing blood, which is what phlebotomy primary does. I also didn't realize we'd be sitting for certification, but coming to Central Penn, that's where I learned about phlebotomy and that you can choose that as a career or choose being an MA too. I have always been a helper, so going in the medical field was kind of a natural progression for me, being able to help individuals from all age groups. You can do that either in MA or in phlebotomy, because with phlebotomy you can draw on infants the whole way up to the elderly population. I've actually come full circle, I feel you could say. I started here at Central Penn in their associate's program as a medical assistant. I graduated here, started working in the field, and then I came back because I wanted to finish my bachelor's. I knew I wanted to get into leadership, so the next logical progression, next step for me was to come back and get my bachelor's. So I finished my bachelor's. Right about that time is when an opportunity to teach presented itself. So I got into teaching, which I love because I am with the students. I'm showing them my passion of taking care of patients, telling them real life stories, real world experiences. And then I went back for my master's degree, and then I came to Central Penn after teaching at 2 other colleges, and now I'm the program director for Allied Health. I have been very blessed with quite a few mentors in my life. The 2 mentors that stick out in my life, is Diane Miller. She was actually one of my professors here at Central Penn, and Rebecca Beamer. She was my boss at the first school I taught at, and and she showed me what it was like to be a good leader, as far as being positive and upbeat, and being there for your students, and being there for your faculty, and really engaging the students, and just giving it your all every time you show up for work. Well, the biggest setback I had was when the school I was teaching at closed. So I had to decide what I was going to do. Was I going to go back in the field, working as a medical assistant, or was I going to take a different path? I actually took a slightly different path, which led me back to Central Penn, but that was definitely a setback as far as where I wanted to achieve professionally, like climbing up the career ladder. But it has worked out in the long run. Just lots of perseverance and support and just not giving up. Some of the big successes I have is I was promoted to program director at my prior school. Unfortunately, I was just promoted here at Central Penn as a program director for allied health. So definitely those have been, two big things that I've succeeded in. Also too, I never thought I'd be helping to develop programs, but helping to develop billing and coding, and now working on the surge tech program. Those are definitely things that, like I said, I didn't think I'd be doing, but now I am, and I'm helping, and it's definitely professional growth for me. That is a really good question, because when you look at the two, phlebotomy is a great stepping stone if you want to get into healthcare, but you're not 100% sure that's what you want to do. With phlebotomy, it's a 9-month program. You get in, you learn the basics of how to draw blood. We also teach you vital signs too, so you work in amongst, with the MAs. And then when you get out there, you can work in the hospitals, outpatient labs, family practice. So like I said, it's a really good starting point if you're not 100% sure you want to be in healthcare. Phlebotomy it's a great place to start. All right, so definitely being in the field and teaching, you have lots of real life stories to share with your students. The one that pops in my mind was actually a story that when I was teaching full-time, before I was program director, I was faculty, and I was very pregnant with my second child, and I was actually teaching the lab class. I was teaching my students to draw blood. So we had the dental assistant students come in, and my MA students, phlebotomy students, were drawing blood on them. Well, the one girl forgot to eat, and we went to draw her blood, and she went down so fast. She literally passed out on my big 9-month belly, and everybody got scared because this was the first time anybody passed out in the lab. So my students go running down the hall to the faculty saying that Professor H needs help. Here they thought I was in labor. And I was not in labor. It was just a passed out student. But we still laugh about it when I see some of the instructors I work with, because you've never seen people run so fast as that moment. Okay, so if you come in for phlebotomy, it's a 9-month program. So like I said, it's a good stepping stone to kind of get your feet wet to see if healthcare is what you want to do. If you decide that you want more opportunities, then it's a pretty seamless transition going from phlebotomy into MA. All the courses that you would have taken for phlebotomy go right into the associate's program for medical assisting. And then from there, if you choose, you graduate, you're a medical assistant, you love it, you decide to go on for management or more in healthcare, then you can go into the bachelor's degree program. And again, since you are a student here, you graduated here, your credits transfer directly in. And that's what I did. That was one of the reasons why I chose it. Not only did I enjoy coming to college here, but I already started my college career path here. I know there are different high schools that are starting programs where you can start taking college courses, and then you finish up what we call the clinical portion in the classroom here at Central Penn. So ideally you could come out with a certification in phlebotomy or even billing and coding after you graduate, because you started your courses in high school. All right, so with phlebotomy, this is a very hands-on experience. In the classroom, both of the clinical courses that you take, you will be practicing, for example, we do teach you vital signs. That way you have that to add to your skill set. So you practice vital signs on your classmates. And then when you get into the phlebotomy lab, that's where the real fun begins. You actually start practicing how to draw blood. We start you out on a basic foam arm. And this is mainly used just so you are able to know how to hold the needle, how to position the needle in your hand, and then insert the needle. Once you practice with that once or twice, then we do the real thing. So the real thing consists of you partnering up with one of your classmates, and your classmate is going to have a seat on the phlebotomy chair. From there, one of the professors that you have will be assisting you with your first draw, and you will be practicing on each other. A lot of times students get nervous about that, but once they get their first phlebotomy stick under their belt, they usually feel pretty good about sticking somebody else. It also gives an appreciation of what patients are going to be like, patients that are afraid of needles, patients that are just overall afraid of healthcare in general, like they don't like to come to the doctors. So it's good, it's a good experience. So when we send you out to the field, we send you out with at least 25 successful sticks. So you could be drawing quite a few. You could be drawing a lot of blood. But these are the various tubes. We also teach you about like the order of draw. There is a special order of draw that you have to do in order to get proper testing results. So we go over in depth the different colors, the different additives that are in the tubes. That is really important. Again, all hands-on. This is just some of the equipment you would be using. The centrifuge you'll get to know very well, because after you draw blood, you need to spin down the blood to send it out in order for the lab to do testing. You will learn the different tests that labs do, should you choose to move into the lab as a phlebotomist doing the testing portion. Some other things here is checking hemoglobin, which is the oxygen in your blood with finger sticks. We do teach finger sticks for cholesterol and glucose. So it's not just necessarily learning to stick in the arm, but also finger sticks. And then also learning how to do butterflies, which are really small needles, and those generally are done on the hands. But again, the biggest thing is it's hands-on. It's not like we're just showing you how to do it and then sending you out in the field. You are going to have hands-on, real-life experience when you enter the workforce. Another fun thing is a lot of times family members will come in to get their blood drawn to help get this, like, to help obtain get the amount of sticks that you need. In order to sit for certification, you have to have 25 successful blood draws. So family members are great about coming in. So it's great to get them involved because they really feel like they're helping to support your education too.
Excellent. Thank you so much for that video, Lucy. It's always interesting to see the hands-on aspect of your education. And I think that that's how you really learn what you're going to be doing in the field and kind of getting a real taste for that. So we are going to go back to our presentation now and tell you a little bit about Central Penn and how we can help you reach your goal of being a phlebotomy technician. So Central Penn College is a career-focused educational institution, and we're located about 10 minutes from downtown Harrisburg. So we're in suburban Somerdale, so you get the best of both worlds. You have that safe suburban campus and then everything that downtown Harrisburg has to offer. So all those great healthcare facilities are right nearby, and it's an easy commute from the York area. So if you're thinking about commuting, you can do that, or we also do have residential populations here too. So 8 reasons that people love Central Penn. We put this slide in here because it's kind of an overview of the things that make our school unique and things that can help you as you're figuring out what to do next. So here we do our calendar a little bit differently. Rather than having fall semesters and spring semesters, we have 4 11-week terms that go year-round, and then there's a 2-week break in between. So that means that you can earn your degrees faster. Our student to faculty ratio is 15 to 1. So that means that you're in a small class you get to know your classmates, you get to know your instructors. And the great thing about our instructors is, just as Lisa mentioned, Lucy actually currently works out in the field as a medical assistant still. So she is like all the other faculty members here. She's got that experience in the real world and can bring that back to the classroom to you. So our faculty has worked, or they continue to work in the fields that they teach. So they're really able to bring that expertise to you. We have in-person and hybrid classes. So your phlebotomy technician classes would be a combination. Professionalism, we are preparing students for careers through hands-on learning. So we want to make sure that you heard Lucy, you're getting that experience by actually practicing those sticks. She said that students do just 1 or 2 on the foam arm, and then they're going right into real people. They're pairing up with their partners. So you're really getting that hands-on experience. We do have a housing scholarship that Kelly Fox will be telling you about soon. Transfer credit evaluation. So if you were to move on to perhaps an associate's degree or a bachelor's degree and you've got some credits from another institution, we can certainly take a look at those. We have sports and activities here. And we also have academic support for all of our students through the Learning Center, counselors, success coaches, there's tutoring, and faculty advisors. So to earn your phlebotomy technician certificate, you need to have a GPA of 2.2 or higher, or have passed the GED and have 2 medical reference forms. So you need to obtain those to be considered for the certificate program. The Phlebotomy Certificate program is a hybrid program. So you're going to have online coursework, and then you're going to be in person for the hands-on experience. So classes are offered during online or evening sessions. 4 classes are taken online and 2 are on ground or on campus. Full-time is only 2 courses per term for phlebotomy technicians. So if you're thinking of doing this while you're also working, it's a great fit for that. And it's a great entry-level position into the medical field so that you can then build on it if you choose. Now, our accelerated terms here mean that you could earn your certificate in as little as 9 months. So again, we talked to you about the number of courses you'll be taking each term, and you can be out there in the workforce very soon after high school graduation. Now, we want to make sure that once you've made that commitment to further your education, that you're well supported in college, that we are here to help you make sure you succeed. So you get paired up with an advisor, a success coach, and they're able to help you schedule your classes. They're able to help you stay on track for graduation. We also have a counseling department because we know that life happens and sometimes you just need somebody to talk to. So we want to make sure that we have that available for students with professional counselors, and that is free of charge for you as a student. We have our learning center that can help you with study skills, essays, any kind of tutoring you might need. And we also have an Office of Equity and Multicultural Affairs that works to make sure that every student on our campus feels welcome and included here. Now, I'd like to turn over our presentation to Kelly Fox. She's going to tell you how to finance your college education.
Thank you, Amy.
Oh, apparently I've jumped a little ahead. I apologize, Kelly. Let's talk about graduate success. I know you're ready to go, and I apologize. So 90.6 of our graduates were employed in their chosen field or continuing their education within a year of graduation. So that means if you get your certificate as a phlebotomy technician, you're employed as a phlebotomy technician. So you're able to go out there and be employed. We have a career resource center that helps you with resume building. They'll help you with mock interviews. They have career exploration tools, career expos, internship fair, all kinds of things. So we're here to help you succeed. And again, as a career focused institution, we want to make sure that you're successful after graduation. So what could be next? If you decide to continue in the medical field after you've earned your phlebotomy certificate, maybe you've worked for a couple of years and you're thinking you'd like to advance, you can easily pursue your associate's degree in medical assisting. And as Lucy said, it rolls straight into that. So all the courses that you took for phlebotomy technician will roll into that associate's degree. You're already on your way once you've started that certificate. Our admissions process, we've tried to simplify it to make it as easy as possible for you. You can apply at centralpenn.edu, and it's a free application. It takes about 10 minutes to apply, and you can even do it on your phone. We are mobile friendly. We do ask you to submit a 500-word essay, but we want you to write about your favorite topic, you. We want to know about your involvement in school or community, or what a Central Penn education would mean to you. We do need a copy of your high school transcripts, but we are SAT and ACT optional. So if you didn't take those assessments, we don't require them. We do require a campus interview, and we'd love to welcome you here on campus. But if you're more comfortable, we can certainly do that virtually. Now, we do have our tours on campus. So if you want to get an overview of what our campus is like and see it in person, we would love to welcome you here. But we also have a self-guided virtual tour on our website that you can use following this QR code, or you can find it on our website. And it's kind of a choose your own adventure. You choose the path you want to take, the doors you want to open, and you can learn more about Central Penn that way. Now we're going to welcome Kelly. She's up. Thank you so much, Kelly.
Thanks, Amy. So what is financial aid? Financial aid consists of grants. That's the free money that you do not need to pay back. Loans, and all educational loans are deferred until 6 months after you graduate or stop attending. Scholarships, which are a very important part of any financial aid package. Typically, you would apply for them. They are awarded. And again, you don't have to pay them back. And then employment. Most colleges have work study programs, but every college does the work study program differently. So here at Central Penn, after you have a GPA here at the college, you could then be considered for work study. And if you work on campus, we actually pay you paychecks. You would not see work study coming off of your financial aid package. So scholarships, very important part of a financial aid package at any school you might be considering. Here's a list of scholarships we have on our website. Most of them are GPA based, but Central Penn does match outside scholarships up to $1,000. That's how important we feel that scholarships are to any financial aid package. So if you would receive $500 from your high school, Central Penn would give you an additional $500, a matching scholarship incentive to look for scholarships outside of what we offer. And all of our scholarships are listed on our website. They only simply require an essay. There's no letters of recommendation or no one-on-one meetings to receive any of our scholarships. Central Penn is offering free housing for our students. So as a full-time student, as long as you participate in the mandatory housing programs and have a GPA of a 2.0, Central Penn could cover your housing while you are enrolled at Central Penn. You would still have to cover the utilities and the meal plan and pay a one-time $250 housing security deposit, but we here at the college would cover the cost of the actual super suite for you. And once you've been accepted, you would receive the contract that you would sign saying you understand the parameters of the scholarship, and we would then add that to your account. So the process. Now is the time, if you're seniors, to be applying for the FAFSA form, the free application for federal student aid. It determines your eligibility for the Pennsylvania state grant, and their deadline is May 1st, as well as any federal grants. Once you complete that and list the schools on there, you will then start to receive financial aid award packages. Then we can kind of determine what your next steps are, what your balances are, and then options to cover any remaining balance through payment plans, private loans, or loans that your parents can borrow. And here is the contact information for both Lucy and for our Director of Recruitment, Lisa.
All right, so if you are interested in finding out some more information, that QR code right there on your screen, if you go ahead and scan that, that'll take you to a screen that will ask for some of your information so that we can reach out to you. So if you're interested, please go ahead and do that. On the screen too is my cell phone number where you can call and or text if you have any questions after you have watched this presentation. And then you can also, if you're ready to take those next steps, you can apply online. And it's www.centralpenn.edu/apply. So you can do any of those things, and then we'll reach out and help you through the process every step of the way.
I just wanted to throw in a comment. I'm so glad Lucy spoke about helping and partnering up and serving as lab partners, because that was, I was going to mention, if that wasn't mentioned, I was going to say that, because having actually worked at a school where I was, at the time, I was the evening director. So it was it was a lot more quiet when it came to employees. There's a lot of students, but there weren't as many employees there. I was a pincushion many nights. I would offer up both of my arms for some of the medical assistant students when they were doing their phlebotomy courses and doing their blood draws. And I was going to say, like, that's something you really need to be available to do if you enter into this program. Is not just that you're actually sticking someone, that you're getting stuck as well. And yeah, it's funny because people that weren't at the school would say, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe you let the students do that." I'm like, they're great at it. Like they're so well practiced, and the instructor is standing right there watching them do it, that, you know, it's really it's not bad. But boy, if I had any little bit of fear of needles, that just was like, all right, well, this is just another Thursday night at this point, just getting double needle sticks. But anyway, so yeah, I'm glad she mentioned that, because that's I feel like that's an important thing you want to know coming into it, is that, yeah, you're gonna get stuck a bunch of times, but you know what, they're gonna help you, you'll help them, and that's just the way it goes. So I'm glad she mentioned that.
Great. Well, I mean, I hope that helped understand what phlebotomy was. I don't know if we have any questions. Didn't see any pop in yet.
I didn't see any come in live, but I think it's great. And, you know, medical system was mentioned a couple times, and I know it's not the focus of today, but I think sometimes it's just good to have students be aware of what a medical assistant does. That typically, if you go into a doctor's office, the person that comes in and checks your vitals and does some of the initial work before the physician comes in, or the nurse practitioner, physician's assistant, a lot of that's being done by medical assistants. You know, a lot of times people have said, like, "Oh no, the registered nurse does that." I said, "Well, no, actually, it's a medical assistant. You don't know any better, but yeah, they appear to be a nurse, but it's actually a different type of training that they receive." So I think it's good to know that. Yeah, I would tend to have those conversations with people, just because, again, I was at a school where we were training a lot of medical assistants for the field. It seems like they're in very high demand. Practices are leaning on them a lot more, I think, than they were, 15, 20 years ago. So, and just at a side comment, I love when colleges are so focused on career placement and, getting you to that end goal, to understand that, like, you're not, we don't want you to just finish the program here, pay your tuition, and then leave, and we don't really care what happens to you. I just think it's so great to have that career support as you're trying to transition into your career, because that is the end goal. And I know I talked to high schools about that as well. It's like, the end goal is not to get them to graduate. I mean, ultimately it is, but I think it's great to focus on, well, what are you doing after you graduate? Are you pursuing something that's going to make you happy? Are you going to be a productive member of society? Or, we're going to be really proud because you achieved something that makes you happy. So I just think that focus is great. So kudos to the whole team at Central Penn for all that support that you give. That's great.
And the great thing is that I didn't mention it in the presentation, but Career Services is open for alumni as well. So even after you graduate, if you decide down the road you want to look for a new position and you want to update your resume or check their job postings, our Career Services department supports you even after graduation. So it's a really exciting feature. It's kind of unique for our college. So yeah, we are all about the career focus for sure. I was one of those, changed my major 3 times, transferred colleges once. I had no idea what to do. And so this would have been an amazing program for me to explore what my options were. So I'm glad that YCAL does these explorations.
Well, we wouldn't be able to do them without all of you, so we appreciate it. And hopefully they're not in a situation where many of us may have been, where it's like we either go right to work or you go to four-year college. And now we know there's so many different options in between those two bookends, so to speak. Where it's nice to know that. I mean, it's I'm okay with where I ended up, but it would have been nice to know there's a few other options as well.
Right.
So it all worked out, right?
It might have been an easier path.
Maybe, who knows? Is there anything else at this point, or did we cover it all? That's great information. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I think we covered it all.
All right. Well, hey, thanks to the team. Appreciate it. Once again, thank you so much for this, and for those of you that have been on the other ones. Thanks for showing up for all the other programs as well. Really appreciate giving these options to the students, and hopefully they'll use it to make some good informed decisions. All right.
Care.
Well, hey, thank you all. You have a good rest of the day.
You too.
Bye, everyone.